Dear students, আজিৰ ভিডিঅ'ত আমি হায়াৰ সেকেন্ডাৰী সেকেন্ড ইয়াৰৰ ফাৰ্ষ্ট লেসন যাৰ নাম হৈছে দ্য লাষ্ট লেসন ইংলিছৰ এই চেপ্টাৰটো যিবোৰ মোস্ট ইম্পৰ্টেণ্ট কুৱেশ্যন আছে তোমালোকৰ হায়াৰ সেকেন্ডাৰী সেকেন্ড ইয়াৰৰ কাৰণে লাগিব সেই কুৱেশ্যনবিলাক এনসাৰৰ সৈতে আলোচনা কৰিম তোমালোক সকলোৱে ভিডিঅ'টি শেষলৈ চাবা আৰু চেনেলটো সাবস্ক্ৰাইব কৰি দিবা বাকি আটাইবিলাক চেপ্টাৰ তোমালোকক দি দিও এতিয়া বলা ভিডিঅ'টি স্টাৰ্ট কৰোঁ First question to hoise I started for school very late that morning. Who is the I here? Eto 2012 aru 14 aise. Your answer hobo the I referred to here is a little boy named Franz. Question number 2. Why did little Franz want to spend his days out of doors? Answer. Little Franz wanted to spend his day out of doors because he had not prepared the task assigned by his teacher Hamel, so was in a great dread of punishment. Moreover, the bright warm day, the chirpings of the birds and the sight of the Prussian soldiers drilling at the back of the sawmill also tempted him to stay out of doors. Question number 3. What are M. Hamel's views on the French language? Answer. In M. Hamel's view, French is the most beautiful, the clearest and the most logical of all the languages in the world. He also opines that language can play the most important role in achieving freedom from slavery. Hence, he has advised the students to guard their own language amongst themselves and to never forget it. Question number 4. What did M. Hamel do when he wanted to go to fishing? Answer. When M. Hamel wanted to go to fishing, he would declare a holiday for the students. Question number 5. What was the commotion that Franz anticipated in the classroom? Answer. The commotion that Franz counted upon was the usual bustle which was created by different activities going on simultaneously inside the classroom, like the students repeating their lessons in unison, the sound created by the opening and closing of desk, and the teacher rapping his iron ruler on the desk to bring discipline inside the classroom. Question number 6. Why was the lesson called the last lesson? Answer. The lesson was called the last lesson because it was for the last time that the students would learn the French language, as the order had come from Berlin to teach only German in the schools of Alsace and Lorraine from the next day. It was also the last lesson that M. Hamel would impart, as he was leaving the school for good after 40 years of dedicated service. Question number 7. What had been put up on the bulletin board? Answer. The order of the Prussian authority to teach only German in the schools of Alsace and Lorraine from the next day had been put up on the bulletin board. It was also informed that a new German teacher would come to teach German in the schools of Alsace. Next question. What did M. Hamel write at the end of the class? Answer. At the end of the class, M. Hamel wrote down Bibela Franz on the blackboard. Question number 9. What was more tempting to Franz than attending the school and why? Answer. The bright warm day, the bird chirping at the edge of the woods, the sight of the Prussian soldiers drilling in the open fields at the back of the sawmill were much more tempting for Franz than going to school because he had not prepared the lesson assigned by his teacher on the previous day and was afraid of being punished by him. Question number 10. How did Franz react to the news of the last French lesson? Answer. The news that it was the last French lesson he would learn came as a thunderclap to Franz. He realized with a shock that he hardly knew anything about his own language and thus felt extremely sorry for it. Question number 11. Why were the old villagers feel sorry for themselves? Answer. The villagers felt sorry for themselves because they too, like Franz, realized their mistake of not attending the school when they were small children and hence could not read or write their own language. Question number 12. Why did the old villagers come to school on the last day of the French lesson? Answer. The villagers had come to school on the day of the French lesson to show respect for Hamel, who had dedicated 40 years of his life in teaching the children of Alsace. They had also come to show respect for the country which was there no more. Question number 13. Why was Franz surprised to see Hamel that morning? Answer. Franz was surprised to see Hamel that morning because he was wearing his best Sunday dress, his beautiful green coat, frill shirt, and his little black silk cap, which he never wore except on inspection and prize distribution day. Question number 14. Describe the unusual things that Franz noticed on the day of the last lesson. Answer. When Franz reached the school late, he noticed many unusual things there. Since he was late, he thought of entering the classroom without being noticed because usually there used to be a commotion in the morning due to the various activities of the students. But on that day, the school was usually quiet and still as if it was Sunday morning. So when he reached the class, he grasped the attention of all, but his teacher was unusually kind and gentle that day and politely asked him to take his seat. Franz even noticed that his teacher Hamel had put on his best Sunday clothes, his beautiful green coat, frill shirt, and black silk cap, which he never wore except on prize distribution days and school inspection days. The things that surprised Franz the most was the presence of the elderly villagers, the former mayor, the former postmaster, old hosser, etc. sitting at the back benches of the class just like other students. All these changes baffled the little Franz as he could not find out its main reason. Question number 15. Describe Hamel's last day at school. Answer. The warder from Berlin made Hamel a completely changed man. From the beginning of the class to its very end, various changes could be noticed in the end. Usually, Hamel was known as a hard disciplinarian who used to punish students for any indiscipline. But on the last day, Hamel had suddenly changed into a polite and compassionate man who very gently allowed Franz to enter the class when he arrived late. He wore his best dress on the last day of the school, his beautiful green coat, his frilled shirt, and little black silk cap. He patiently taught his students as if he wanted to give away all his knowledge before going away. He taught them various subjects, gifted each student with a new notebook, and advised his students to always remember their mother tongue. As the church clock struck 12, he tried to express his feelings in words but failed. So he wrote Bibella Franz on the blackboard and dismissed the class with a gesture of his hand. This was how he spent the last day in school. এইখিনি কুৱেশ্যন এই চেপ্টাৰৰ পৰা তোমালোকক বাছনি কৰি দিয়া হৈছে, তোমালোকে শিকি থাকিবা। ইয়াৰ পৰাই তোমালোকৰ হায়াৰ ছেকেণ্ডেৰী পৰীক্ষাত কমন থাকিব, গতিকে কোনো চিন্তা কৰিব নালাগে। বাকীকেইটা চেপ্টাৰৰ কুৱেশ্যন এনচাৰ দিয়া হ'ব। চেনেলটো ছাবস্ক্ৰাইব কৰি দিয়া। ধন্যবাদ।